If you know you should be eating more protein, but still struggle to hit it consistently, this is the part most endurance athletes get wrong. It's where most athletes get stuck. They either forget about protein during the day, or they try to catch up at dinner, and neither approach works particularly well. When I asked Jules about protein timing, this was her response.
Unless we're really focused on it, we tend to negate the protein at breakfast. That obviously makes it harder to hit that protein goal, particularly if you're an athlete. If we want to spread that protein intake through the day, the best thing to do is think about what we can add to our meals. So if you're having porridge for breakfast, what we can add to that, a scoop of protein powder to that, some skyr or Greek yogurt, maybe some nut butter or some mixed seeds. And quite quickly, that bowl of porridge, which wasn't that high in protein, can be hitting that kind of 20 to 30 grams of protein that we might want to achieve at breakfast. If we think about lunch, a pasta, rice or grain-based salad with that protein source can be a really great way to get a really nutritious lunch. And then most people's typical dinner will support meeting that protein goal, whether that's a curry or a lasagna or a spag bol. And then depending on the individual and how much energy they need through the day, adding in 1 or 2 snacks in between those meals will really make sure that they meet that protein goal. So certainly thinking about spreading it through the day not only improves the body's response to that protein, but also makes it more manageable to achieve that total number.
That's the mistake. Your body can only use so much protein at once. So a huge dinner doesn't undo under-eating protein all day. Let's take a look at what this looks like in practice. A typical endurance athlete breakfast, cereal and milk, maybe 8 grams of protein. What I eat most days, around 30 to 35 grams. You can see a visual of that breakfast in the screen on the left. Now Jules calls this protein first planning. Instead of asking, what carbs do I want? Ask instead, where is my protein coming from? At breakfast, it could be eggs, Greek yogurt, protein powder. At lunch, chicken, fish, beans, tofu. For dinner, whatever protein you enjoy. You just make sure you build the rest of the meal around that. And when people hear this, they usually raise the same concerns.
I think in terms of people who might need to approach very high protein intake with caution would be anyone who's got any kind of kidney disorder, and that would be certainly a recommendation to discuss appropriate protein intake with their individual medical care team in those situations. But for the most part, high protein intake is safe and a really healthy thing to do, particularly if we are older individuals and trying to maintain a high level of activity. The high protein intake is only going to support us as we age.
So if you're healthy, higher protein intakes aren't an issue for your kidneys. Now, eating protein regularly and eating a lot doesn't have to be expensive, and it doesn't need to take much time if you keep things simple. Just remember, this isn't about perfection. It's about building habits that support performance now and strength and independence later in your life. If this video and the previous one helped you simplify protein, then we go deep into endurance performance and healthy aging every week on these videos. So please subscribe and I'll see you in the next one. I've also linked Jules' details below if you want personalised nutritional support. And while you're at it, what's your biggest challenge with protein? Feel free to drop it in the comments below.